nobody expected him to go live again. Not after the voicemail, the freestyle, the short film, and the silence. But he did. And this time, Papoose didn't hold back. No riddles, no pride, no saving face, just raw truth. And what he revealed, in those 23 minutes, it blew the lid off everything. Remy Ma, long painted as the misunderstood queen in a broken kingdom, now found herself at the center of something much darker. This wasn't just about cheating. It wasn't just about emotional absence or broken vows. According to Papoose, this was a cover-up, a betrayal rooted deeper than anyone imagined. And the receipts? He brought them live voice messages, deleted photos, phone logs from nights she swore she was at the studio, and a name. One name. A familiar one? The internet stopped breathing. What happened between Remy and that mystery man? Why did she go so far to keep it hidden? And why did Papoose choose now, after months of silence, to detonate everything with one press of a go live button? Fans are stunned. The timeline's in shambles. And the family completely torn apart. Because if what Papoose said is true, then everything we thought we knew about Remy was a lie, a screenshot of a deleted message. Remy's number sending a location pin at 11:47 p.m. Come through. He sleep. The chat froze. This wasn't a random leak. This was surgical, calculated. And the way Papoose delivered it, like a man who had cried in silence too long and was now done protecting someone who never protected him. He held up the phone again. Another recording. I just need space to breathe. I can't do that around him anymore. Again. Remy's voice. I gave her space, he said quietly. I gave her room. I gave her grace. But what I got in return was gaslighting and guilt. He leaned forward. Do you know how it feels to be in the same house with someone who stopped loving you months ago, but smiles for the camera because the fans still believe in the fairy tale? Then he dropped something even more personal. She told our daughter not to tell me when she was meeting him, said it was just business. You could feel the shift in the room. Fans stopped laughing. Trolls fell silent. Even the comments turned serious. Now listen, he said, I ain't perfect. I've made mistakes. I've been distant. I've let music and hustle distract me. But never once did I bring someone else into our home emotionally. I never made our child lie to her father. Then he took a deep breath and said something no one expected. I still love her, but I can't respect this version of her. And just like that, the live ended. But the internet? It had just begun. Within minutes, screen recordings hit every blog. YouTube clips labeled Remy Exposed by Papoose Live Receipts took over trending pages. Fans on Twitter were making timelines, pulling receipts, and debating everything from loyalty to legacy. Some fans defended Remy, saying emotional neglect leads to emotional escape. Others sided with Papoose, calling it betrayal in disguise. But the real chaos erupted when an anonymous page dropped a photo, one taken weeks ago, showing Remy and the same executive sitting in what looked like a hotel restaurant. Candles, wine glasses, no security, no team, no reason to be there unless it was something personal. Remy didn't respond. No posts, no story. Total silence. But another unexpected voice jumped into the mix. Fat Joe. He went live the next day, looking. Uncomfortable but firm? I love both of them. They family. But man, y'all don't even know half the story. I told Pop not to go public. I told Remy to fix it before it exploded. But now it's too late. Fans begged him to spill the rest, but he cut the live early, saying some things ain't for the internet. But it was already on the internet, and the internet doesn't let go. A few days later, a blogger known for celebrity deep dives posted a new video, and in it, they revealed a private DM from someone who claimed to be part of Remy's glam squad. The message was short, but heavy. She was crying before every red carpet for weeks, said she felt trapped. It painted a different picture. Maybe Remy wasn't just cold. Maybe she was suffering too, but that didn't erase the receipts. It didn't erase the audio. And then, just as things started to cool down, Remy posted a black screen. 3 words. You sure now? No name. No context. Just enough to spark fire again. Fans immediately interpreted it as a warning. Others saw it as defiance. But either way, it was the first move since the storm began. And right after that, a new rumor hit. An unreleased interview clip, allegedly from a podcast she recorded weeks before the live, where she spoke about feeling more seen by someone she wasn't supposed to be close to. The host asked, "Was it romantic?" Her answer? It felt like relief. Whatever that means. The internet lit up again. Fans argued for hours about what that meant. Was it love? Was it lust? Was it desperation? And right when things couldn't get messier, the executive, the man at the center of all this, finally broke his silence. Not through a post, not through an interview, but through a song. He dropped a verse in a new collab with a major artist, and in it, he said, "She told me I was safe while she wore his name on her waist. Now the kingdom fallen, and I'm still stuck in that place." People froze. This wasn't speculation anymore. This was confirmation. And that's where part one ends. The verse sent shockwaves through the culture. Blogs reposted it instantly. Twitter exploded with bar breakdowns, and fans everywhere were divided. Some called it poetic, others called it petty. But no one denied the truth behind it. The executive had just confirmed, in his own words, that something real happened between him and Remy. And he wasn't hiding it anymore. Meanwhile, Remy stayed quiet. No response, no reposts, no denial. Just silence. But silence on the internet only breeds speculation. A fan dug up an old clip from a backstage vlog where Remy and the executive were seen in a dressing room. At the time, it looked harmless. Two people reviewing a performance. But now, with the context of receipts, fans noticed the details. His hand lingering on her back. Her smile soft in a way it never looked on red carpets. The way she whispered something to him. And the camera quickly cut. Suddenly, people were seeing the past in high definition. Papoose, on the other hand, was still offline. No new posts, no new interviews, just digital absence. Some thought he was recovering. Others believed he was planning his next move. And then came the anonymous text leak. A verified blog posted screenshots from an unnamed source, claiming to be someone close to the executive's circle. The texts were dated weeks before the live. He said it's not just a fling. He said he loves her. Fans lost it. Was this deeper than everyone thought? Was Remy emotionally checked out of her marriage for longer than anyone knew? The betrayal didn't just sting fans. It reached their inner circle. A producer who worked with Papoose for years posted a cryptic tweet, "Funny how people preach loyalty when it's convenient. Some folks wear loyalty like jewelry, just for show," though he didn't name anyone. Everyone knew exactly who he meant. Remy was being painted into a corner, and still, she didn't defend herself until one night she reappeared. Not in a statement, not in a freestyle, but at a private event. She showed up to a woman-led hip-hop showcase in Brooklyn. Not as a performer, not as a speaker, just a guest. But the moment she walked in, every camera turned, and fans watching the shaky live footage noticed something instantly. No ring, her wedding ring, the one she wore even during the worst of times, was gone. That sparked a new wave of theories. Some fans said it meant the marriage was over. Others believed it was a message to Papoose. "I'm not yours anymore." A reporter from a small urban blog caught her on her way out and asked, "Is it true what he said? About the man, the texts, the voice notes?" Remy stopped, looked at her for a full 5 seconds, and said, "If the truth could fit in a caption, I'd tell it. But it don't, and neither do I." Fans reposted the line like gospel. It became a TikTok sound, a meme, a lyric, everything. But it still wasn't a denial, and that left the door open for more. More leaks, more speculation, more chaos. The very next day, someone posted a screenshot of Remy's name booked for a studio session, the same studio where the executive recorded his last album. The timing matched one of the location pins Papoose showed on live. Fans began rebuilding the timeline day by day. They tracked everything, Instagram stories, tagged photos, city check-ins, and it all pointed to one conclusion. Remy wasn't innocent. He wasn't innocent. But here's the twist. Neither was Papoose. Because out of nowhere, a burner account posted 2 blurry images, showing him at a lounge in Atlanta weeks before his now famous live. He wasn't alone. He was with a woman. Not a celebrity, not a known face. Just someone new. The photos were taken from a distance, but the way she leaned in, the way he touched her leg under the table, it was clear this wasn't just a fan interaction. Blogs went into overdrive. Was this before or after he exposed? Remy, was he playing victim while entertaining someone on the side? One caption went viral. He had receipts, but she had a reason. The story was spiraling, and fans were tired of guessing. That's when Remy finally broke. She posted a black and white video to her stories. No music, no makeup, just her sitting on the floor in sweatpants. She spoke directly to the camera. I'm not going to sit here and clear everything up. I'm not going to give y'all every text, every feeling, every tear. But what I will say is, I didn't ask to be the villain. But if I gotta play that role to finally breathe, so be it. She paused. Did I get close to somebody I wasn't supposed to? Yeah. Did it turn into something I couldn't control? Yeah. But you know what I never did? Lie about how lonely I was. Her voice cracked just a little. When your pain becomes content, your silence becomes betrayal. I stayed silent. Too long. The internet was shook. Some fans applauded her honesty. Others called it damage control. But nobody could deny the emotional weight in her voice was real. And then she said something that made headlines across every blog. He ain't wrong for feeling hurt, but I'm not wrong for wanting more. And with that, she ended the story. No explanation, no defense, just truth. That video alone reached over 6 million views in 2 days. And that's when Papoose logged back in. He posted a photo. Not of himself, not of Remy, but of their daughter. The caption said, "She's still watching. We still growing." It wasn't shade. It wasn't petty. It was peace. For the first time since the live, fans saw him as a father before being a husband. A man trying to rebuild something, even if it wasn't the marriage. And then came the moment no one expected. Remy reposted it. No caption. Just a white heart emoji. And just like that, everything slowed down. Fans still debated. Blogs still speculated. But the firestorm? It softened. And what remained was a story not about cheating or clout, but about what happens when love is stretched too thin and two people grow apart trying to stay together. But don't get it twisted, this wasn't the end. Because behind the piece, more secrets still lingered. The repost of the photo changed everything. Suddenly, the timeline wasn't filled with just arguments and accusations. It was filled with confusion. Why would Remy repost a picture from the very man who just exposed her to millions? Was it guilt, grace, or something else? The white heart emoji. That's what people fixated on. Some said it meant peace. Others said it was a silent, "I still care." One blogger wrote, "She didn't use a red heart, not a black one. She used white, the color of surrender. And for a brief moment, fans thought the war might be over. Maybe the mess had run its course. Maybe they were going to handle things behind closed doors now." But then came the anonymous voice memo. An unknown TikTok user posted a 12-second audio clip. The voice was unmistakable. It was Remy's. And she was angry. "I told him not to do that live. I told him if he did, I'd light the whole house on fire." Fans couldn't believe it. Was this real? Was it edited? Was it old? Blogs jumped in fast, trying to verify it. Within hours, a popular urban drama page confirmed the original recording came from a group chat Remy was allegedly in, shared by someone who felt played. The damage was done. The comments turned again. So she was threatening him behind the scenes? I thought she wanted peace? This ain't love, like this is war with lipstick. Remy didn't respond to the leak, but she did something else. She posted a cryptic tweet, just 4 words. "I said what I said." No context, no mention of the voice note, just that. And suddenly, everything boiled back up again. Meanwhile, Papoose stayed offline, but his friends didn't. A well-known battle rapper, someone who'd been around both of them for years, posted a video where he told fans to stop playing with Pap's name. Y'all think 'cause he quiet, he weak? Nah, he been saving her face for years. Y'all just now catching up. The video went viral. People flooded the comments, demanding more details. And then he said something that dropped jaws. The story y'all don't know is the one that didn't make the blogs. The day he almost left her in 2021. He stayed for the kid, not the marriage. Wait, what? Nobody had ever heard about that? And suddenly, the timeline shifted again. Fans started speculating. What really happened in 2021? Was there already trouble? Was this recent mess just the final crack? Then came the proof. An old interview clip from that exact year resurfaced. Remy was asked about marriage and hesitated before answering. Instead of praising Papoose, she deflected. Marriage is work. Real work. And not everyone tells the truth about how much it costs. At the time, it didn't mean much. Now, fans called it foreshadowing. But then, out of nowhere, Remy posted again. This time, a full black screen with a paragraph of white text. I am not perfect. I am not the wife people want me to be. I mess up. I get overwhelmed. I shut down. I crave peace more than praise. And sometimes, I seek comfort in the wrong places. I've apologized where it mattered, and I'm still healing. But please stop pretending you know me from headlines. Fans were shaken. It wasn't a defense. It was a confession. With edges, some called it brave, others called it manipulative. But most agreed, it felt real. And yet, the storm wasn't over, because the very next day, a blogger released what they claimed was a message from Remy's own family member, allegedly her cousin. In the message, the cousin said, "This been going on for over a year. Everyone knew. Some even warned Pap. But he didn't believe it until he heard it for himself. If true, that meant this wasn't a moment, it was a pattern that shook the internet again." Especially when a different clip surfaced from last year's award show, where Remy and the executive were caught on a balcony alone, whispering, smiling, her hand on his arm. At the time, fans thought it was business. Now, it felt like evidence. But then came the biggest twist yet. A text chain leaked, allegedly between Remy and another woman. The woman was confronting her, asking, "You knew about me and still came around him?" Remy's reply, "I thought y'all were done. He told me you were a ghost in his life." The conversation showed Remy not just as the betrayed, but as the possible other woman herself in someone else's story. The layers just kept peeling. Fans were exhausted yet addicted. People started calling it hip-hop's divorce saga of the decade. Even mainstream gossip shows picked it up, analyzing lyrics, timelines, therapy quotes. Meanwhile, a new wave of TikToks began, ones where women stitched Remy's posts with their own relationship stories. One viral TikTok said, "Remy ain't a villain. She's just the first woman to admit out loud that staying silent was killing her." Another. Papoose loved her, no doubt, but did he see her? Really see her? But not everyone was forgiving. Critics said, "Love isn't enough when disrespect enters the room." Others wrote, "She crossed the line. It wasn't healing, it was hiding. The culture was divided." And then, finally, Papoose returned. He didn't say much, just a video of him walking through the city at night. No words, no music, just streetlights and silence. The caption? "Some things don't need to be explained. Just accepted." Fans watched it on loop, looking for clues. Was this his way of saying it was over, or was he walking toward closure, not away from it? No one knew. But what they did know, the story was far from finished, because someone else was about to speak. Someone neither Remy nor Papoose expected. The live was supposed to be about music, just a fan Q&A, something light. But 5 minutes in, the executive, the very one at the center of it all, slipped. Whether it was intentional or not, no one could tell. But the moment he said her name, everything changed. "I still got love for Rem," he said casually, eyes flicking down to the comments. But that situation was always more complicated than people knew. The chat exploded. Fans were asking questions faster than he could read them. Someone asked, "Was it love or lust?" He smirked. It was connection, strong one. And sometimes connection don't care about timing. And just like that, the story had a new narrator. He didn't go full confession. He didn't leak texts or drop voice notes. But the way he spoke, smooth, certain, and a little too familiar, made it clear that he wasn't just a footnote. He was part of the story, a chapter neither Remy nor Papoose had prepared the world to read. Meanwhile, the internet had started a countdown of its own. The anniversary of Remy and Papoose's wedding was just 3 days away. Every year, they posted a tribute. Every year, they gave fans that black love moment. But this year, nothing. No posts, no throwbacks, no quotes, just silence, until 11:59 p.m., right before the clock turned. Papoose posted a photo. It wasn't of Remy. It wasn't of them. It was of an empty ring box on a windowsill. The caption? The vows were real. The silence was louder. That post broke the internet. Fans didn't know if it meant divorce or distance. Some said it was symbolic. Others said it was confirmation. But one thing was clear. He wasn't pretending anymore. And Remy, she stayed off socials the entire day. No response, no story, just absence. But late that night, a well-known female rapper, a close friend of hers, tweeted something that caught fire instantly. It's funny how the world mourns men who weaponize silence and forget women who survived it. Fans assumed it was about Papoose. The tweet went viral. Some praised her, others dragged her. And suddenly, the story wasn't just about cheating or betrayal. It was about how both men and women process pain in public. And then, Remy finally reappeared. But not in a way anyone expected. She was spotted at a women's retreat in Arizona. No glam, no entourage, no promo. Just Remy, wearing sunglasses and slides, walking into a healing circle hosted by a spiritual coach known for working with celebrities after scandals. A blurry photo leaked, showing her holding a journal and crying. The caption? No cameras, no comments, just the truth. Blogs went wild. Fans debated whether it was genuine or performative. Some said it was a PR stunt, others said it was the most human thing she'd done through the entire saga. And then, without warning, her team dropped something huge, a teaser trailer for a mini documentary titled Her Side. It opened with one line, a voiceover of Remy saying, "Everybody knows my name, nobody knows my story." The internet paused. Was she finally about to tell all? In the teaser, we saw clips of her childhood, her rise to fame, her prison time, and flashes of the current drama. Blurred out names, flashes of her and Papoose in happier times, even the infamous voice note waveform. But it was the final moment that stole the breath from fans. A voice, hers, saying, he wasn't the only one with secrets. Boom, blogs exploded. What did that mean? Was she about to expose Papoose now? Had he been hiding something all along? Was the story deeper than even his live revealed? Fans couldn't wait, but before the documentary even dropped, another twist arrived. A young woman came forward on social media claiming she had her own chapter with Papoose, not recently, but during a rough patch years ago. She posted blurry photos of them at a private event. Nothing romantic, but enough to raise eyebrows. And then she shared a voice memo, dated 2020, where Papoose was allegedly heard saying, "If I wasn't married, things would be different. The internet wasn't ready." Was this what Remy meant in her teaser? Had she been silent about his past while being judged for hers? Fans argued all night. One comment said, "This ain't black love, this is black war." Another said, "They both got blood on their hands," but only one of them had the mic first. And then, finally, Remy's documentary dropped. And it changed everything. In the opening scene, she sits alone in a white room, no makeup, eyes swollen. "I gave him everything," she says softly. "Even the things I should have kept for myself." She walks viewers through her journey, her fears, her frustrations, her fights with herself. She admits to emotional infidelity. She admits to seeking connection outside of the marriage. But she also shares the nights she cried alone, the nights she felt invisible, the pressure to be a symbol while feeling like a ghost. "He loved me like a legend," she said, "but he stopped loving me like a woman." And then came her bombshell. The night I sent that location, I was drunk, I was angry, and I was hoping he would find it. Not him. Him, the man I married. I was begging him to see me. That one line rewrote the whole story. She wasn't hiding, she was crying out. Was it right? No. Was it messy? Absolutely. But was it malicious? Maybe not. The documentary ended with a simple quote. "I'm not asking to be understood, just no longer misnamed." And then black screen. Fans were stunned. Even those who had written her off admitted. This wasn't the villain story anymore. This was layered, painful, real. And what did Papoose do? He shared the link. No caption, just the video. And for the first time in months, they were aligned. Maybe not as husband and wife, but as two humans finally telling the truth. But wait, one last twist was still coming, and it would be the most unexpected voice yet. The day after Remy's documentary premiered, the internet was still reeling. The think pieces came fast, some calling it a masterpiece in vulnerability, others dragging her for rebranding betrayal. But one thing was undeniable. The narrative had shifted. She wasn't just the subject of gossip anymore. She had taken back control of the narrative. piece by piece, blogs were spinning with headlines like, "Remy speaks her truth. But is the world ready to hear it?" Fans are torn as the documentary humanizes the hip-hop queen. But while the spotlight was fixed on Remy, nobody expected the most powerful, most emotional perspective to come from the quietest member of the family, their daughter. Not in a dramatic video, not in a messy post, but in the form of a handwritten open letter, shared anonymously through a small lifestyle blog that later confirmed its source. The letter began, "I didn't want to speak, but silence feels like lying too. This isn't about taking sides. It's about telling the world that what happened in my house hurt more than what people say online." Fans stopped scrolling. The letter was raw, poetic, emotional, beyond belief. She wrote about nights where her parents' silence was louder than any argument, about how she'd listen for footsteps in the hallway to know who slept where, about how it felt seeing the world idolize something that didn't match the heartbreak she lived through, and then came the line that shattered everyone. "I loved them both. But somewhere along the way, they stopped loving themselves." That hit different. Suddenly, this wasn't just a celebrity scandal. It was a daughter watching her heroes fall apart. She didn't blame either of them. She didn't defend the cheating, or the exposure, or the silence. She simply described what it was like to grow up inside a fairy tale that had cracks too deep to hide. "I hope one day they choose peace. For them. Not for likes, not for fans, not for image." The letter ended with, "To the world, they're legends. To me, they're just mom and dad, and I miss when that was enough." No post from Remy, no reaction from Papoose, but the internet completely shaken. Comments poured in by the thousands. "This broke me. Now I see the real cost of all this. I hope they read her words." And they did. The next day, Papoose posted an old photo. Their daughter at 5 years old between them, smiling wide. The caption was just one word, "Anchor." Remy shared it to her story. No filter, no emoji, just the image. For the first time, fans saw the quiet truth. They may never go back. They may never fix it all, but they were choosing to protect what mattered most now, their daughter's peace. Then came the surprise move, a joint statement, not through social media, not through press, but a letter posted to their daughter's school newsletter first, then shared publicly. It read, "We are learning, as parents, as people. This moment has been painful and public, but not purposeless. We apologize for what has spilled into the world. Our child deserves better. And moving forward, our focus is on healing, not headlines." Fans were stunned, not just by the maturity, but by the fact that they were united in that statement. They might be fractured, but not broken. And then, just like that, the story slowed. Blogs started to move on. TikTok moved to the next trend. Fans stopped demanding responses and started reflecting instead. One creator summed it up best. "We watched two people show the world that love isn't just roses and posts. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's real, and sometimes it's over." Remy went silent again. Papoose returned to music, dropping a quiet freestyle titled "Pages," where he spit, "Held a home on my back while my heart got tired, loved a queen through the fire, but the truth got wired, still salute her through. Pain, we both wear the crown, just not together. That's how legacies go down. No bitterness, no shots, just poetry and closure." And in the final twist, the executive at the center of it all? He disappeared, deactivated socials, stopped interviews, went ghost. Rumors said he got dropped from 2 label deals quietly. Maybe it was pressure, maybe it was guilt, maybe it was something deeper, but one thing was for sure, the triangle had collapsed. What was left now? Remy, Papoose, and their truth. Not perfect, not polished, but finally real. The internet may forget eventually. New scandals will rise, new couples will go viral. But this saga, it left a scar across the culture because it reminded fans, once again, that the most beautiful love stories don't always end with happily ever after. And just like that, the love story that inspired millions turned into the cautionary tale no one saw coming. What started as a perfect image unraveled before our eyes, not with fists or fights, but with silence, secrets, and screens. Remy Ma spoke her truth. Papoose showed his pain. And their daughter? She gave us the one thing the internet couldn't twist: a raw, honest view from the heart of the storm. Was Remy wrong for what she did? Was Papoose justified in exposing it all? Or were they both just human, navigating love, legacy, and loss in a world that demands perfection? Fans are still debating. Families are still divided. And through it all, one thing remains. This wasn't about clout. This was about truth. Messy, painful, beautiful truth. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Remy's documentary changed the narrative? Should Papoose have gone live with the receipts, or kept it in the family? And do you believe they could ever find their way back? Or was this always how it had to end? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. We read everything. If you felt this story, if it made you question love, loyalty, or even your own silence, hit that like button. Subscribe right now, because we're breaking down every untold chapter, every twist, and every voice they didn't want you to hear. And remember, love might fade, but the truth, it always comes out.